All right, we are in the kitchen. We're going to do some make-ahead meals that are, today's all about slow cooking. What about meals that you have in your freezer done already, and then you can just throw them in your slow cooker? I love that idea. This is Kristen Lamphy. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
We've had Kristen and some of the other members of her group on the show. You guys are all about freezer meals, make-ahead. So let's tell everybody your story because it's really a fun one.
Well, our story began probably almost 5 years ago when we decided that, gosh, we can't get dinner on the table fast enough for our families, and we don't want to spend all this time in the kitchen on summer days. So we decided to exchange freezer meals. So I make 6 or 7 of the same meal. We get together on Sunday night, exchange our meals, and I go home with 6 or 7 different meals. And from there, you know, my family's got to try some new things. We've developed a cookbook because people are like, well, what can you do in freezer meals? Because everyone thinks it's just lasagnas and you know, soups, and we've just really come up with a lot. And the crock pot is a great the freezer to crock pot. I think that's what crock pots were made for, was the freezer meals to those.
Absolutely. They also teach workshops, and my producer Abby recently went to one, and she's like, it was great. She bought you gave her, you know, you supplied the grocery list. She went out and got the grocery, and she left there with 5 or 6 meals, and she's been eating them all week. She's like, it's fantastic.
It is.
So really a cool idea. So once a month, and you could do a group like this with your friends, with your neighbors. You know, you just meet, do a quick exchange, and I love the idea that you just make one recipe 6 times, you know, put it in our freezer bags, and then you leave there with everybody else brings their recipe, and then you leave there with all different things. So what are we making today?
We are going to make a crock pot chicken red wine with mushrooms. Ooh. So it's a really flavorful dish. So
Sounds
it's really
like
yummy.
Yeah,
really yummy.
All right. So we first of all, I know you go through a lot of freezer bags.
We do.
They work
we
great.
do. Yeah.
And then we're using chicken thighs. Boneless chicken thighs. Okay.
Yep. You could with this recipe use chicken breast, but I think that the chicken thighs give a really rich flavor to this this recipe in particular.
Okay. All right. So about 6 of them or 8?
I think I have about 8 or 10 in there.
8 or 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. About 3 pounds, I think, is
of
what
the boneless. Okay.
Skinless. Yeah.
All right. Skinless. So we've got them in a Ziploc bag, already washed and all in there. So I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I'm just gonna. Should I give it a rough chop?
Yep. Rough chop. The nice thing about the slow cooker too is you don't have to do tons of chopping because the slow cooker takes care of a lot of that and adds a flavor. So
doesn't have to be perfectly diced or anything like that.
And the nice thing with freezer meals too is that, you know, I just put the meat in the bag and then I just throw everything in. I don't even mix it up because your crock pot does that for you kind of on the day of cooking.
Good point. Really good point. Okay, so in goes our garlic. Okay. And I talked about at the beginning of the show how it's so important, if you're not going to take the time, in this case, to brown up the chicken thighs, to have it a really great liquid that this is going to cook in and give it lots of flavor. So let's talk about some of the things that are in that liquid.
Yeah, we're going to do a red wine, and it's about 1/4 of a cup, but you can add a little bit more. Chicken broth, that's going to be kind of our braising liquid. Plus we have tomato paste, which is going to be something that I think adds a lot of flavor.
So it all goes in the bag then?
All goes in the bag,
Okay, so we've got onion?
Yep, we got onion.
One, it looks about a cup of diced
onion. It was
onion.
about 2 small onions I had there.
2 small onions diced up, okay. This looks
basil.
like dried basil, yum, okay.
And tomato paste.
1 can of tomato paste.
Yep. Here.
Thank you. Hardest part is getting it out of the can.
It is. It is.
So really, I'm not complaining. This is easy. Okay.
Yep, and then a little sugar. Okay. And this is that's tapioca actually, and that's the thickener that will kind of thicken it.
A little bit of sugar.
Yep. And that. So and then we just add like 1/4 of a cup of red wine in there.
Okay. This is a dry red. We love our Door Peninsula Winery wine, so I'm just gonna eyeball it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then about 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth.
Okay.
Or chicken stock, whatever you have.
Okay. How's that look?
Looks great.
Okay, and then we've got some mushrooms.
Yes.
So we've got some fresh mushrooms, and just want them kind of chunked up a little bit.
Yep.
Kristen?
Yep.
So
just a quarter it or something like that.
Okay. I'm just going to give them a. So that's another thing when you're, cooking with the mushrooms. In this case, the mushrooms are going to cook with the chicken all day. If you were to slice them up real thin, they kind of disappear on you. So you want to kind of substantial chunks. Now, my question is, when you go to cook this, can you throw it in there kind of partially frozen?
Yes, and I find too with some of the crock pots, some of them cook a little faster. So I actually find it better if I'm going to know I'm going to be gone all day is to put it in frozen, and then let it cook, and then it kind of I can be gone for 8 hours, and it's just going to be right.
That's
so,
a good point, especially with chicken. Chicken, of course, is going to cook a lot quicker than beef. So. And sometimes, you know, the chicken crock-pot recipes call for just 3 or 4 hours, but you're gone all day.
Right.
And then that chicken can just kind of become nothing and just really, you know, fall apart, no flavor, be dry. So if you throw in chicken breasts or chicken thighs in frozen or partially frozen, it really can make a difference. So do you pull these out then the night before and let them in your fridge?
Yeah,
so
I usually do that. I usually plan the night ahead what we're going to have, and then I pull it out, and then just before I leave for the day, I'll throw it in the crock pot.
And then it'll be partially frozen, partially, you know,
Right.
so that you can actually get out of the bag. So,
Yep.
so our mushrooms go in here too.
Yep, mushrooms go in there.
And then this goes in the freezer, and then when you decide, you know what, I remember this wonderful chicken mushroom wine dish that we had in the freezer. So you pull that out the night before, let it thaw in the morning. You dump it in your slow cooker, let it cook low and slow all day, and I can hardly wait to show people what it looks like. Ooh. Oh, man.
Yes, it's really yummy.
And what do you like to serve this with?
You know, my kids really love like pasta, so I like to do just like a little bit of egg noodles with it.
Just to boil up quick at the last minute?
Yep, exactly.
But look at that
But it
liquid.
could be, you know, you could do rice, you could do mashed potatoes. I mean, really whatever kind of your family likes, but the egg noodles work really nice with that.
That looks fantastic.
It's
Yummy,
yummy.
yummy, yummy. Okay, for people who want to find out, they have 2 cookbooks out. They just came out with a brand new one. This one's called Family Friendly Freezer Meals Back for Seconds. So they took all their favorites for their meal exchanges, and they decided, you know what, we're going to do a cookbook. So this is the second cookbook.
It is the second cookbook, yep.
2 cookbooks out. And then you also do these workshops that you do every once in a while, or you'll do private workshops for you know people who. How can people track you down and find out?
They can just go to our website, which is 10belowfreezermeals.com, and we'll have information about how to order our cookbooks, information about our workshops that we have coming up and where we're going to be, and just information just about general freezer meal cooking. That's kind of our goal, really, is we want to educate people and help them make life a little easier, spend more time with your family, and eat together more often.
I'm all in on all those things. Kristen, thank you so much. What are we making next time?
We are going to make a salsa roast beef in the crock pot.
Ooh, that sounds good. And coming up, some soups in the crock pot too. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back.